Let's get on to the good, bad, and ugly from this weekend in the English Premier League. Let's start with Ollie.
The good for me has to be that pairing, that Tottenham pairing of Kane and Son Heung-min. Yes, so I think they're just loving watching them play, like week in and week out. Did a feature for Soccer Club on Gareth Bale and how he's going to link up with the two of them. And it's just they look like they're enjoying their football. They're linking up so well. Neither of them seems to want to be the center of the goal scoring. You know, they're assisting and they're scoring, and I think they've scored and assisted in every single game so far. Gareth Bale just adds to that. But for me, the bad then has to be the fact that Tottenham blew that lead. You know, you've got those three strikers playing up there. Goals have to be scored, and they were. You know, 3-0. I think first goal then came back in the 82nd minute, and they blew that lead. So for me, Tottenham, after that Manchester United performance, needed to go and solidify it with a strong 3-1 or a strong 3-0, you know, and then you start building. Like, you had Bale returning, you know, that's when you kind of just take it that notch up and you say that wasn't a fluke against Manchester United. So I don't know what it does for the team spirit. I don't know what it does for, you know, fans sort of thinking, are they going to be the kind of team that scores these cool goals, you know, plays great footy, but then ends up blowing leads. So yeah, I was really unhappy with that. And then the ugly is Chelsea, because every time they seem to be getting a look in and you think, okay, now they're maybe finally gelling as a team. Maybe Lampard won't be the first manager to get sacked. 3-3 draw again, you know? As 2-3 draws from a team, again, that, like we've said so many times, spent nearly £200 million in the transfer market. So
Yeah,
it's just not good enough.
And again, their goalie wasn't convinced with their goalkeeping. And we said that in the first show of the year, that, you know, until they get a world-class goalkeeper, they're going to leak goals. And to me, he had a shocker again.
Yeah.
Shakes, what about you, bud?
Yeah, so my good actually comes from Aston Villa. Them beating Leicester City away. I watched that game and I thought Aston Villa actually better than what I thought. Like, I now can probably say they definitely not gonna probably fight relegation. They probably not gonna even be in the bottom 5 or bottom 6 as they were last season. I think they're much better than what I thought with regards to Ross Barkley coming in and Jack Grealish and Ollie Watkins. They were going toe to toe with Leicester, and I was really surprised. So they're my good. My bad has to definitely go to Tottenham having to let a 3-goal lead slip. I don't know how that happens. And the funny thing is, the 3 goals of West Ham actually came in the last 8 minutes of the game or 10 minutes of the game. And you're thinking, how? When at halftime it was 3-0 to Tottenham already. So that was like sort of disappointing to see that they couldn't even manage a game. And the ugly, like Oliver said, that Chelsea defense is, the defense and the goalkeeper is just, I think the second goal that Southampton scored was a poor back pass from Kurt Zouma, and there was a point that Kepa could have actually got to it, but I don't know whether he chickened out or he was scared that he was going to collide with the player, and eventually Shea Adams equalized the 2-2 at the time. So I think for them, it's the defense. Just when I thought Kurt Zuma's improving, he does something like this, and I'm like, oh, back to square one. So I would have to say that's my ugly.
Yeah, for me the good was again Everton. You know, against Liverpool that had taken a touchdown, lost it 7-2, and out they come. They fight back after going down twice. Calvert-Lewin again. You know, definitely got to consider him for the Golden Boot if you're looking for to place a bet on that. And James Rodriguez, you know, again assisting on Keane's goal. They just look like they are a top 4 side this year. You know, it was between them and Aston Villa. Sorry,
I just want to ask, should have Pickford been sent off in that game though?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he wasn't because it was offside, I take it, huh?
Yeah, they said it was offside, but they did say that VAR could have re-looked at it and could have sent him off and given a restart of the ball or something like that, a drop ball, if that's the case. But VAR said it was offside. They didn't look further into it, and now Van Dijk could be out up to, is it 6 to 8 months now?
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. Well, this is this is what we talked about in terms of, to me, it's the most open Premier League that we've had ever that I've seen. That's my good. I mean, Everton, to me, even though Aston Villa got the win, I still am impressed with Everton. The bad has to be Tottenham blowing a 3-0 lead. It's just shocking. For a Mourinho team to blow a 3-goal lead is terrible. And the ugly for me was in the Everton game with Richarlison getting that red card. I thought that tackle was outrageous. I see the points around Pickford's possible should have been sent off. But if the guy's offside, he's offside. And if he wasn't offside, if he's offside, how do you, the guy took an advantage of being offside to be challenged. And even if it was an illegal challenge, who cares? But Richarlison's tackle was outrageous. That could have ended a career. So that to me was the ugly.
And what was key about that was, I don't know if you've seen in the game, when Richarlison made that tackle, Joe Gomez dropped to the floor immediately because he thought surely something broke there, and fortunately not. And Richarlison was sent off, and even him play acting was a little bit disgraceful as well, to make that tackle and he's on the floor acting like as if his leg is sore or something. I said, no, man, you really broke Thiago's leg, man. Like, if anything, apologize and walk off the pitch. But he's on the floor rolling around and saying he's injured too.
Yeah, unlike rugby, soccer players don't usually, rugby's the sport of kings and soccer's the sport of thugs. And it's one of the things it's one of the things creeping into the game more and more is it's been less actually this year because of the no fans. People haven't had to be play acting because there's no crowds. But before COVID, it was rife. It's one of the things you see more miracles in the Premier League, the Spanish League, and the Italian League every week, week in and week out, where guys that go down like they've been shot, and they'll never walk again. And 2 minutes later, they're up. They do the obligatory 30-second limp. Touching whatever's being hit, and then
they score.
A minute later, if they see a ball that they can run onto, they're like a cheetah. It's crazy.
No, you're definitely right about that. They I don't know, man. They try to get each other sent off, which is not really great. And like you said, rugby on the other hand, they take tackles, they take, I don't know, pushovers and all that stuff. So, but football on the other hand, it's a little bit dirty. It's a little bit dirty.
Guys, just on two of your guys, the goods that you mentioned Aston Villa and you mentioned Everton. We've been chatting a lot about them in our shows, but do you think that they've got the depth in their squad to be a top 4 and a top 6 team should something happen to a Jack Grealish, Calvert-Lewin, James Rodriguez? Do you think that the coaching setup and the team setup is good enough for them to maintain that?
Absolutely not.
So you think it's riding on essentially those 3 players?
Healthy. Yeah. But Liverpool's success last year was on how healthy the team was. And now they're going to be tested with their best defender out and a world-class player. That's why I'm saying that the Premier League, you look at the table now, you see Manchester City north of 10 or south of 10th. Manchester United down there. You see Leeds United mid-table. You see Aston Villa 1 point undefeated, beating everybody that's been put in front of them. And, away to Leicester, home at Liverpool. It's the COVID year.
And again, it could be like you look at a Man City that's got incredible squad depth and they've had 2 of their star players out. They've started, like you said, north of 10. Could you then see them potentially creeping up the table as the league goes on and, other players get injured, their players come back, they've got bigger squad depth,
Oh, for sure. I mean, Aguero was healthy this weekend, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was out. He played a role in the goal that defeated Arsenal. So yeah, he played a massive role within that game. But to answer Oliver's question with regards to Everton and Aston Villa is that I don't think they have enough depth in terms of if one of their key players was to go off, then I don't know. I don't think they'll be able to cope. Like, for example, Liverpool have a huge challenge with coping with Van Dijk going out. My best advice to probably Aston Villa and Everton is that it's a crazy year, it's a COVID year, but at some point, probably even next year, January or February, teams will settle in, or you'll start to see who is the better team and stuff. The best advice I can give them is win as many points as you can now.
Yeah.
Because I tell you, man, like eventually City will get something right. Eventually, look, Liverpool without Van Dijk is going to be tricky. But I think they will definitely still win games with that front three and Thiago spraying the passes. Chelsea, I don't know about the coach. I really don't know about the coach. But eventually teams are going to get it right. And I think they must win as many points as they can so that when February or May comes around, it's like, oh, hey, we're not far from the top four.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be it's a record-setting pace of points. It could be 85, 88 points that wins it this year.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a Liverpool-dominated season. We've already seen that. Buckle up and strap yourself in for the ride because it's going to be a great year with so many, like 2 out of 10 last week. Anyway, Shakes, thanks very much for coming in and really appreciate your comments as always, and well done on being the top predictor this week.
Till the next show.
Till the next show. Thanks, Shakes.
Cheers.